weight. The bar's got that swing. Glasses clink, hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Salud and welcome. Welcome to Thursday's iteration of Liquid Lunch. So glad you could be here today. I had a whole different plan for today, but you know what? We need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. If for no other reason, I just need to get it off my chest. Got to vent a little bit. You know what? Let me slow my roll. Let me take a sip of my drink. Calm. And let me say hi to all of you before I jump into this. Starting with Big Al of Big Al Presents, who says, "Hello, my friends. Have a great show. Disney on reboots, a la Indy. Quote, I don't know. I'm making this up as I go." Close quote. Yes, absolutely. Hello, love of my life. She says, like, share, subscribe, become a member. Yes, please do all of those things. Please especially like today because I expect to get hammered with dislikes on this stream. I suspect I will. I think this is going to bring in a lot of views, but it's also going to bring in a lot of hate. So I need my regular supporters to have my back on this. Hail all, smash the like button and enjoy the show. Absolutely. Lynn Green says, already did that. Yep. After this, watching ID4, Independence Day. Yeah. And if there's time, the pilot episode of Wild Wild West. There you go. There you go. Great way to celebrate Independence Day. Good afternoon to you as well, Jonathan Conroy. You are wonderful, and I super appreciate seeing you here every day. Matanui, hi, good to see you, my friend. Hail, 2 beers in. Well, good on you, mate. Clifton 3D, always good to see you, my friend. I think I'm going to be on his stream in the coming month or so. Looking forward to that. And yes, here's the bloke that brought this to me. Geek Flag with Nate Knows 1973, whom Netter and I were just talking about yesterday. Talk about a wonderful supporter of the channel. He really, really is. He's doing a lot of work behind the scenes. He's contributing to Geeky Geezers, giving me thoughts about topics for Liquid Lunch, diligently trying to get guests for Netter's Network on Thursdays. He's just and always sharing out streams. He is a good guy. Just like all of you guys all support in very, very incredible ways, and it's the consistency that I so much appreciating. Getting hammered, getting smashed. Is there a difference? Well, yes, I think so. At least the way I use those terms. Getting hammered is a refining process. Like when you're hammering out a piece of tin, a piece of metal, in a forge, you're getting hammered, but you're shaping yourself the way you want to be shaped. Getting smashed is just beaten all to crap and useless. At least that's how I use the terms. I don't know if that's how it's generally meant. Well, just my thought on it. Kalima, yeah. I actually have a video that, for whatever reason, it's done very well on my channel. It's a silly little video I came up with a couple of years back, right around Christmas time. It's a clip. It's an edit of that Kali Ma segment, with me very badly off key singing "Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but you shouted Kali Ma and it burst into flames." And for whatever reason, people just loved that and shared it around, and it's gotten a whole lot of views. What do you think, Pedro Pascal or Cynthia Erivo as Henry Jones Jr.? We'll get there. I do think that Pedro Pascal is on the back nine now. I think they're going to start pulling back from him. He is slowly turning into box office poison, and I don't think we're going to be seeing much more of him going forward. Although Disney is incredibly slow to get a message, so it may take a while. We'll see. Oh yeah, sorry about yeah. I hope you're feeling better, Nate. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, mash them into one person, right? Because it's a spectrum, right? It's all fluid stuff these days. Yep. I know you are. I think you are just an overachiever, and I super appreciate that about you. I really, really do. Have some alcohol. It clears up that nightmare 1, 2, 3. Yeah, well, yeah, it might clear up nightmares, but it could lead to some other weird dreams. I'm a soda totaler having a no sugar Coke. There you go. Which means a Coke Zero as opposed to a Diet Coke. They are distinct in the type of artificial sweetener that they use. And yes, Curtis, you made it. In fact, I am still in the saying hi to everybody phase. So, and Rosefire says she's going to be right back. She's going to make some lunch, some more filling lunch than the liquid lunch, which is absolutely fair. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I feel justified talking about rumors more on Liquid Lunch because it's just it's just a bunch of friends getting together and shooting the breeze over lunch, right? We're not talking about news. I don't have sources. I don't have, behind the scenes people that give me the scoops and whatnot. I'm just doing like all you guys do. I'm getting the whispers and the rumors that come out from all the different outlets and whatnot, and then I fume about it a little bit. So I feel like this is the kind of thing I would talk about with all of you guys if we were getting together during the workday at lunch, in the lunchroom. So let's I suppose in the lunchroom we wouldn't be having a liquid lunch at the pub across the street. So let's go ahead and get into it. So this one comes to wait, your source isn't the same as Mike Zero? Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I haven't seen a Mike Zero video in a very long time. I used to watch him all the time. But honestly, if you're going to follow Mike Zero, that means you can't follow anybody else. Because he's got like 25 videos a day that come out. I don't know how the guy does it. I don't. I really don't. I know what goes into editing, and it's just... Yeah, don't even get me started. So, Indiana Jones reboot. Oh, Jesse Guajardo, welcome. Welcome, good to see you. So, Indiana Jones reboot reportedly in development at Lucasfilm with New Star taking over from Harrison Ford. So, before I get into the article, of course, linked below, go check out that Park Place. I've also tagged that Park Place. If you're not subscribed to that Park Place here on YouTube, please make sure you do that as well. Don't forget the mysterious thumb drive. Yeah, are we referring to a specific channel, or are we talking about a particular gamer outlet that had some stuff that he shouldn't have had? Never mind. Getting off topic here. So, the first I heard about this was from Geek Flag with Nate Knows, and we were chatting a little bit, offline, and the way I saw the headline, I did not see this headline. I saw a headline that Nate had sent me. It just said reboot reportedly in development. Okay. A reboot in and of itself does not necessarily mean they're remaking stuff, right? It doesn't mean that they're going to literally remake Raiders of the Lost Ark, for example, okay? Now, hold on to that before you start saying that's not what the article says. That's exactly what Disney's planning. Okay, slow down, okay? Straw manning you just a little bit here. So and here we are, we're less than a quarter of the way into the hour, and I'm already going to be citing retro blasting. Of course, I have to, right? Whenever I'm going to talk Indiana Jones, I've got to cite the internet's guru on Indiana, all things Indiana Jones. He has not, as far as I know, put out a video as of the time I went live today about this, and I don't think he will, because he doesn't usually address rumors unless a bunch of people nag him to give his opinion and whatnot. But I think we could probably surmise what his opinion would be. But anyway, backing up a little bit, I tend to think like Michael over at Retro Blasting in that I feel that Indiana Jones lost its way very early on. I think that the decision to saddle Harrison Ford as the only person who could ever play Dr. Jones was ill-conceived. They should have been more in the mindset of James Bond. You have an actor play the character a couple times, and then you move on to someone so that their age always scales. So they always stay about the same age in perpetuity, okay? You also, in so doing, don't tie yourself down to a continuity, right? Yes, you could argue, well, Temple of Doom takes place before Raiders of the Lost Ark, so technically it is a prequel. There is a continuity there. Yes, I suppose so, but once you get to Last Crusade, first you got a title, Last Crusade. Yes, I know it's got multiple meanings, but it does imply we're in the third movie of a trilogy, we're not going any farther than this. If that had been the case, it would have been fine. But if you are intending it to be an ongoing thing, a serial, right? Like the old Republic serials, that you go every Saturday to the matinee watching black and white, Captain Comet and, Flash Gordon and all those kinds of things, then you don't want to mire yourself down with who his father is, how long he's been doing this, whatever. It's just, he's an archaeologist professor, and he goes and has these adventures trying to find old relics. Wash, rinse, repeat, next one, right? But as soon as you start getting into, the deep elements of his childhood and his relationship with his father, and that's why he is the way he is, and his, on again, off again relationship with Marion, and whether he gets married and he has kids and the kid goes off to war. And, okay, no, that's, you've lost the plot, okay? So they already went off the rails on this. So my first initial thought with this was, gee, maybe they're, going to do that. Maybe they're going to go back and cast another actor to do things before Raiders of the Lost Ark, after Raiders of the Lost Ark, in between movies, just a serialized adventure pulp story. If that's what they're doing, aces. And if I don't like the person that they cast as Indy, that's fine. Just wait 2 or 3 movies. They'll recast him, right? No problem. There'll be a George Lazenby. There'll be a Roger Moore. There'll be a, unfortunately, Timothy Dalton. I know. Those are fighting words, Michael. I know they are. But yes! And absolutely don't frickin' try to deep fake. Just recast the role, right? They didn't take every actor that played James Bond and digitally alter them to make them look like either Roger Moore or Sean Connery or whoever they thought was their iconic. No, just, the only time I want to see you deep faking somebody is when you have an actor playing in the role and you want to de-age him for a flashback scene, right? Maybe then, if it's relevant to the story. But even then, you don't have to. A flashback with a younger actor that you look at and go, holy crap, he looks like he really could be a young whomever's playing the role. That was always really good casting, and I wish they would do more of that now. I really do. So let's get into this article. And my intent is that we get through this article. I'll take a quick break to go to the promos, then we'll get to what you guys are all saying. Because we do need to be, what is the actual rumor? Right now, I'm just addressing headlines, right? After the commercial disappointment of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dysentery, Lucasfilm appears poised to chart a new course for one of the most treasured properties. According to a major report from the Disinsider, never heard of that outlet before, the studio is quietly preparing to, I guess it's not very quietly if you got a leak like this, preparing to reboot the Indiana Jones franchise with a formal announcement potentially arriving as early as next year's D23 Expo. Okay, so right there, if we get to D23 next year and they make this announcement, it means zero to me. Lucasfilm announcing a new project is like, spitting into the wind to see, to guess what the weather's going to be like. The project is said to be in early developments, with a new take on the character being considered following the retirement of Harrison Ford from the role. Now this is what really sends up major red flags for me. Disney reportedly planning full reboot of the Indiana Jones franchise. Now, that is a very specific wording. That turn of phrase is something very different from reboot. What I addressed at the top of the show, a reboot could just mean recasting with a new actor. We assume it's the same canon. It still takes place in conjunction with these other movies. It doesn't wipe away any canonicity of those films. A full reboot implies wiping away everything and starting fresh. That's what happened when they did Ghostbusters 2016. When we were told it was going to be a reboot, and I'm like, well, okay, so it's a new group of characters taking over the mantle of Ghostbusters after Venkman and all the rest of them retired or whatever. And okay, so it happens to be all female. Great, no problem. No, that's not what they did. They completely wipe out the canonicity of the previous classic films and start fresh, and nobody liked that. So do we think it's going to go any differently if that's what they're doing here? The reboot comes after the turbulent chapter for the franchise, Dial of Dysentery, directed by James Mangold, was intended to be a final farewell for Ford, who reprised his iconic role at the age of 81. However, the film failed to meet box office expectations, grossing just $384 million worldwide on a reportedly $329 million budget. Forbes estimates the movie resulted in a $134 million loss for Disney. That's probably the low end. In contrast, 2008's Kingdom of the Crystal Skull earned over $790 million globally, despite its mixed reception. Yeah, even one of the worst movies in the franchise prior to Disney getting its hands on it still did really, really well. Though Dial of Dysentery underperformed, Lucasfilm and parent company Disney reportedly still view Indiana Jones as a valuable brand with long-term potential. Yeah, if you could get the marketing down right, and get the folks at these toy companies to actually pay attention to what people want, totally different discussion. As I have reported in the past via a longtime source, one possible direction involves a young Indiana Jones concept centered on a teenage version of the character, aged around 14 to 16. This would allow the franchise to be refreshed with a new actor while preserving Ford's portrayal as a distinct chapter of the character's legacy. Of course, in so doing, you would completely be eradicating the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, which I personally loved and thought was a good series. The timing of the reboot also coincides with the major changes behind the scenes at Lucasfilm. Longtime studio president Kathleen Kennedy is rumored to be stepping down by August 2005. She's been rumored to be stepping down every year around that time anyway. While Kennedy has publicly denied any immediate plans to retire, numerous outlets, including Bespin Bulletin and Cosmic Book News, have reported that Disney is preparing for a transition in leadership. Speculation points to current executive Carrie Beck and Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni as possible successors, either jointly or individually. Kennedy may remain in a producing capacity to ease the handoff. None of that means anything. That has zero bearing on this. If Filoni and Beck are the ones taking over, they're just proxies for Kathleen Kennedy. Nothing significant changes there. This change in leadership could have significant implications for Indiana Jones Reboot. I doubt it. Kennedy's tenure has been marked by a mix of blockbuster hits and polarized decisions, particularly within the Star Wars franchise. A new generation of leadership may bring a different creative vision to the Indiana Jones brand, possibly with greater sensitivity to fan expectations and the character's cultural significance. Yes, and monkeys might fly out of my butt. The sensitivity will be crucial. This I definitely agree with. Harrison Ford was long asserted that only he can play Indiana Jones, famously stating, "When I'm gone, he's gone." While Ford has officially retired from the role, any attempt to recast or reimagine the character risks alienating a loyal fan base and diminishing Ford's legacy, if not handled with care. Earlier rumors suggested Phoebe Waller-Bridge or Chris Pratt could take over the mantle, were met with significant backlash, and were ultimately abandoned. Yes, good. Despite the risk, industry observers note that a carefully crafted reboot, especially one featuring a young Indiana Jones, could resonate with new audiences while preserving the adventurous spirit of the original film. Whether Lucasfilm can strike that balance remains to be seen. They have not been able to be subtle in any way, shape, or form, so I have no doubt there is no... The word nuance means nothing at Disney, so let's just put that out of our minds. For now, the studio appears content to let the property rest for a bit. Good. As reported by the Disinsider. But with plans quickly taking shape behind the scenes and the new leadership on the horizon, it's increasingly clear the Indiana Jones is not destined for the Disney Vault. Instead, the legendary archaeologist may soon embark on a brand new adventure, this time with a much younger face. Okay, so there we go. That is WDW Pro's take on it over at that Park Place. I need a drink, so I'm going to take us to the promos so you can see what's coming up this week, and we'll be back in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I promise, we're going to the promos.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
It's Thursday night, and Netters Network talks to the streamers who have everybody talking. It's Thursday Things, Thursdays at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Netters Network.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, Big Al presents the 1981 screwball comedy Zorro the Gay Blade. Big Al presents Films with Friends, Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Big Al Presents.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Papa Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it somewhere else, but Boomer and Pacelli put a spin on it you likely won't hear anywhere else. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
This week on Live from Sparkwood and 21, we'll be taking a drive down David Lynch's Lost Highway. Link to the off-platform live feed of the feature will be provided in the commentary stream chat. Join us this Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
All right. I screwed up. I went to all the effort to put together the new promos, and unfortunately, I'm playing the old ones. The actual movie this Saturday will be over on Netter's Network, and it will be Dr. Detroit with Dan Aykroyd. And yes, we will be talking Lost Highway, but we watched it on Tuesday. We will be doing a deep dive on it this Tuesday. So, my apologies. Yeah, I run a real professional outfit here, don't I? Let's get into the comments. It usually means they're restarting a series or starting a new one that isn't necessarily connected to the original. But as I pointed out, reboot is used in multiple ways. A reboot does not necessarily mean they're starting fresh and erasing previous canon. Ghostbusters Afterlife is still considered to be a reboot, even though it is a literal sequel to Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. Now, Ghostbusters 2016 was an attempted full reboot, and full reboots are generally not very well accepted. I think the only exception I can think of would be the Battlestar Galactica reboot on the Sci-Fi Channel, which was conceived as a full reboot. However, by the end of it, they found a way to tie it into, plausibly, canon from the original Battlestar Galactica. I found that very interesting and somewhat compelling. But we don't know. It's not entirely clear. If that phrase "full reboot" is on the money, then yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. But maybe not. I don't know. Will Retro Blasting is the foremost expert on all things Indiana Jones. Yes, I agree. I agree with you 100%. He's put in the time and the effort, no doubt about it. So any guesses as to who's going to play Indiana Jones? Because I really hope they give the role to a nobody who got lucky, similar to Harrison Ford. Exactly. I hope that's the case, Jesse Guajardo. It's kind of why I didn't want to see them go with Chris Pratt. Although, Chris Pratt, for a couple of movies to establish, the side quill would have been fine with me if they were planning to not mire themselves with him forever and go to someone else thereafter. Yeah, it should be just like, again, use James Bond as the template. Says Clifton 3D, I liked seeing Marion again in the last movie. Disney doesn't count. Yeah. I kind of did too. But again, once you've gone down that road, you may as well see it through. They'd already decided that Harrison Ford was the only Indiana Jones. They'd already given you his whole backstory with, they named the dog Indiana and, Junior and all that stuff. So you might as well see it through to the end. It's not a question of whether or not the deepfakes are good or not. It's whether or not it is necessary. I'm getting tired of them, constantly, fixing on a face and saying it has to be this face. These are actors. Let them act. And let us imagine. Look, Hamlet has been played for hundreds of years now by different actors all the time, right? Just, you deal with it. That's acting. The problem is Disney can't be trusted to make to not making it bad. No, you're absolutely right. I don't want to see Disney do anything with any of the properties that they own. I really, at this point, I'm going scorched earth. I want to see Disney just go bankrupt. Just go bankrupt. Let somebody, buy up their debt with all of their properties and somebody else pick up the ball and run with it. Since Disney doing this, why can't they make it an animated film saga? That way Indiana Jones will look the same, but different voice actors. That's actually a brilliant idea. I think that's been another big problem that not enough people talk about. They talk about it very narrowly. All of these live action remakes, live action, when Disney had always been an animation house, right? And then they acquired Pixar, and they've run that into the ground as well. But yeah, now would be a good time for Disney to get its focus back on animation and voice acting, and start integrating Pixar with the traditional Disney animation studio. But that would require a level of leadership and management that Iger has proved himself to be completely incapable of, despite his 30% raise that he's just given himself. Troy, what if Lucasfilm plans to reboot Indiana Jones with AI-generated actors? Who's the voice actor that played Indy in the video game? Yeah, the guy that did the voice in the most recent video game did an excellent job. That would be a great way to go if they were going to do something animated. Yeah, Sean Patrick Flannery has played the role in three times as many movies as Ford. There you go. I've been reading a lot of fun adventure pulps thanks to Otto Prenzler, but I doubt contemporary entertainment industry could handle all those non-PC words and phrases. God, yeah, you got to wrap this world in bubble wrap these days. I saw Alan Einrich, I ate and hail Caesar. Okay, he could have been the next big thing. He could. Oh, in Hail Caesar. Sorry. Okay, gotcha. He could have replaced Ford, but Kathleen Kennedy was asleep at the wheel. Let a movie get 3/4 of the way done without reading the script. Yeah. Or watching a single daily. Yeah, she's just ridiculous, right? If you want to be a producer, a hands-off producer, that's fine, but don't go, ignoring it until it's almost done and then come in and go, oh no, this will not do, and then upending the cart. It's like, you know what? You've had your chance all this time. You blew it. We're done. We're printing it. Shut up. But then Iger doesn't have the balls to do that. And Lord and Miller were producing a slapstick comedy. Not even Ron Howard could take that and make a good movie under budget. Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't care how good a writer-director you are. If you come in midstream, Mankiewicz, Donner, just saying. A few I remember owning a few. Those could be good foundations for new stories. But again, I don't trust modern Hollywood. And I certainly don't trust Disney. Lucasfilm is making an announcement for me. Making an announcement for me is just a Tuesday. Yeah, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. For all the announcements they've made that ended up being complete fugazi. Right? We could just list them. We could just list them all. They've announced more films than they're ever going to actually even make. Indiana Jones comics. And I got them autographed by the artist. That's cool. Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark says it is only a matter of time for a fun to use AI to make a fan film to make Hollywood look like fools. Yeah, it's already starting to happen. It's already starting to happen. Einreich's terrific in that movie. He and Henry Cavill have talent, but keep getting handed terrible scripts. Yeah. Or not getting the roles they deserve. And because Solo was garbage, Alden got the blame and now gets roles in Ironheart instead of being an action star. Yes, exactly. Oh, talking about the comics. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wait, hold on. Isn't Disney going to remake the Atlantis movie into live action film? And wouldn't it be Disney complete with its self-Indiana Jones remake? I think that we've talked about the idea of the Atlantis movie being made as live action. I don't think they're actually going to do it. I don't think there's been any actual rumors. That was just my speculation based on nothing. I thought it would be a good idea. What's the best they can do with Indiana Jones is focused on it as a completely video game franchise. Well, their last video game sucked, so I don't know about that. If Dave Filoni is still there, nothing is going to change. It's just going to be the same crap with a new idiot's name on the president's door. Yeah, what's going to happen is you're going to go get more push to have the female Dave Filoni, waifu shoved in there somewhere. Didn't they try the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles once before? Yeah, it was a very good show. I loved it. Welcome, by the way, Booger. Good to see you. Yeah, they did. I loved it a lot. And what was cool about that was, even in the span of a single episode, you actually saw Indiana Jones in 3 different stages of life: as a child, as a teen, and as an old man. So, just saying. Just saying. Jesse Guajardo, it'd be nice if they brought some of the indie comics and books to the screen, but it just don't trust modern studios. They'd be offended by the caricatures or human sacrifice. Let me address this because I don't think enough people talk about this. There is a reason that you are never going to see good comic book and book adaptations. All the stuff that we consider to be EU for all of our favorite franchises, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Star Trek, all of those things, they will not adapt them. The reason they will not adapt them is because they don't want to pay the royalties to the creator of those stories. They want their own nepotistic, insert friend here to write a new treatment and pay them. That's what it always is. That's also why Star Wars went the way it did with Rey and all these new characters and the Resistance instead of the Rebellion and all. They wanted to be able to not pay. They wanted to pay as little residuals to Lucas as possible. People don't realize this, but they didn't just buy Lucasfilm and now they don't ever owe anything to George Lucas. George Lucas was the creator of these characters, and when those characters get used, he still gets, the residuals you get as a creator, just like in comics. This is why you see a lot of the problems with the comics you do. They tried to push out Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, and that's why they've done all kinds of ridiculous stuff with rebooting Superman over the years and going through periods where there was no Superboy, or if there was a Superboy, it wasn't really Clark Kent as a boy, it was somebody else, it was a clone, it was a this, it was a that. So it's not to be paying money to the Siegel and Shuster estates. And this is And they will couch it in, we wanted to go a different route, we wanted to bring it up for a new audience, more inclusion, blah, 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 this and that. And so we get all focused on woke, 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 when really that's just an excuse. The real reason is the money. I want the money. And again, it's what we always say about, these arrogant people. Well, this isn't Indiana. This is my Indiana Jones. This is my Star Wars. It's because they want the money. They don't want to share that money with the creators. So that's why you're never going to see an Heir to the Empire adaptation. You're never going to see, you'll see them steal ideas. They'll try to justify Palpatine return somehow because, well, look, they did it in the comics with Dark Empire. Yeah, but you didn't tell the story of Dark Empire. The story of Dark Empire actually had a legitimate reason for Palpatine to still be around. And they tied it into the lore. Whether you liked it or not, they thought it through. You did not. So, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about them doing a live action remake of the Atlantis cartoon that Disney had done years ago. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you meant Indiana Jones and the Secret of Atlantis. That's okay. I apologize. Totally misunderstood where you were going with that, Jesse. Yes. What fresh hell is this? Yeah, we've been talking about it, Enigma. It's, yeah. And I'm not sure what you're oopsing, Big Al, but there's been a lot of oops. A lot of oops. Oh, yeah, you guys are seeing that. I had the wrong promo. Yeah. And it takes way too long for me to upload the promo videos into the platform. I just don't have time when I'm live. If I had a producer that could help me with this, that would be awesome, but I don't. It's all me. Let's see here. Dr. Detroit. Yeah, looking forward to that. However, I would like a new version of Young Indiana Jones series, but in animated series with animated movie. Yeah, I do think that Young Indiana Jones Chronicles would probably have worked better as an animated feature or a series of animated features. I think you're right about that, Jesse. I think that would be a great way to go with it. I think there was a lot, just like Kathleen Kennedy coming and dumping the EU for Star Wars. By effectively doing the same thing with the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, they missed out on a great opportunity. It would have been brilliant if their last film had involved Indiana Jones receiving some sort of an eye injury so that he's wearing an eye patch. That would have tied back to the lore for Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, and they missed the opportunity. It's ridiculous. Yes, actually, thank you, Lynn. You said it as simply and succinctly as I could not. Reboot doesn't mean remake, but it doesn't rule it out. That's true. That's what I meant to say. That's what I was kind of getting at. Yeah. All the different possibilities. All the different Batman movies could be considered a full reboot from the previous one. Yeah. I was watching somebody's video recently talking about, I don't like saying it this way, but it is the way that the video presented it. Like normies not getting the concept of, a multiverse or, alternate takes on things and whatnot. So what they were referring to was how the Gunverse, we all know that's a reboot. It's a straight out reboot. This is not the Snyderverse. The two don't interlink. But this video maker was saying that some of his normie friends were like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this Gunverse Superman and seeing how that leads into the Snyderverse stuff. And he's like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. This is a whole different Superman. Completely unrelated. I did not care for the RDM Galactica. RDM. I prefer the characters in the original. Okay, fair enough. Fletcher Williams. I suck at games. Listening and driving, but be careful. Be careful. If they wanted to cast Chris Pratt with Indiana Jones as Indiana Jones' son, that would have worked. Nope, they killed him off. That character's dead. Have you heard? The Mona Lisa is going to be repainted so that it is updated to modern orthodoxy. That's what we're talking about here with Raiders. Yes, and welcome, Darth Plato. Good to see you. Yes. Because Leonardo da Vinci really had intended for the Mona Lisa to be a gay black woman. I think that's canon, right? And here's so this brings me back to something that I was going to bring up and hadn't. Here's my suspicion about this rumor, kind of as we start to wind it down. I think that this leak, this rumor, is really Disney floating the idea to find out what the fan reaction is. I think if there's enough negative reaction, it won't ever happen. That's what I believe. I don't know that for sure. We'll see. But that's my supposition. James Crowley for the Star Trek Next New Voyages said the same thing about new actors playing iconic characters. Bingo. And they did a great job, too. They actually had, within the span of Star Trek Continues and New Voyages, they had like 3 different people play Spock. To me, Indy really doesn't exist after World War II. His character exists in a Pulp Fiction world that changed after World War II. That's when lesser-known wonders were located and mapped. Travel got easier. Yeah, that I think was always the intent, at least in the beginning. And then, Lucas had to Lucas. That's just how it goes. 1946 is a good place for Indy to pass the torch to a new hero, one of the Atomic Punk Silver Age of the 50s. That would be an interesting spin-off. That would be interesting. NSPF would have been the perfect age to play Colonel Jones infiltrating Germany instead of Crystal Skull. Yeah. Welcome, Latino Slant. Good to see you. Brandon Skelenar. Cast him now. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure that's a perfectly valid casting. That's not bad. I'll look into this bloke and see what he's all about. I'm sure he's fine. But where would this new hero go except into outer space? Like I said, the world got more commercialized after World War II, so less templates and unexplored territory for Indy. Well, Indiana Jones in space. That's got to happen, right? Still Adventures in the 50s. It would not. Yeah, it would be in the 50s. See, they were going. They had some right thinking with the Crystal Skull. Move from the National Socialists in Germany in the 40s into the USSR in the 50s and so forth. But anyway, it will cost more money if they try to remake the whole Indiana Jones storyline, especially when you consider the timeline and all the costumes, weapons, vehicles. Yeah, but this is Disney. They're going to throw money at it. In fact, they'll throw money at it 5 times. They'll make 5 different damn movies before they end up actually releasing something that won't even earn back its budget. Welcome, Sin of Sin's Corner. So good to see you. In preparation for a live stream next week, I'm currently rewatching a Donner film I haven't seen in decades, Lady Hawk. I suspect we will be talking about Lady Hawk among other 80s films tomorrow night on Last Call. Honestly, if all you did was tell an AI to do it, you didn't actually make anything. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's just the equivalent of mental, self-gratification. So they have someone read the wiki article, steal the broad strokes, and tell a Temu version. That's Disney in a nutshell, actually. Boy, I should hire Lynn Green to be an editor for my channel. She has a great way of taking all my babble and condensing it down into single sentences. Yes. Welcome, Zafo. So good to see you. Please don't remake Raiders. Yes, I agree with you 100%. That's like remaking A New Hope. Well, keeping in mind that A New Hope was already a remake of a previous movie called Star Wars. There was a Star Wars before there was Star Wars A New Hope. Episode 4. The original Star Wars was just Star Wars. No A New Hope, no Episode 4. That's the way it was originally released. Honestly, Lucas has been monkeying with the redoing and re-editing and tweaking Star Wars since before Empire Strikes Back was released. Remember that because I started watching... Oh, there you go. There you go. So they tried to save money, but lost money instead. Sounds like I could learn something about when business could benefit by investing, paying for good existing stories that fans want. Yeah, this is what I said. The analogy that I made, that I've made when I've talked about all these IP related cut out the person that created it sort of thing, is the Batman 66, right, with Adam West, right? That was, I want to say it's 20th Century Fox owned the network at the time that made that show, right? But DC Comics, of course, owned the Batman character. So after the show went off the air, went into syndication, and so forth, we did not see any toys. We did not see any, comic book related stuff. We did not see any home media versions of Batman, the TV series, at all. The only thing there was the theatrically released Batman movie. That was the only thing you could get on home media for years. The reason was the 20th Century Fox and Warner Brothers were fighting over rights-related issues. And somewhere along the way, someone finally said, look, neither one of us is making anything on this. We're both literally leaving all the money for this on the table. Let's come up with a 50-50 deal, right? We own the character, you own the, you know, the show, but let's get it out there and split it down the middle. Then everyone wins. And that's when you start seeing all these toys and whatnot, really within the past decade. You know? This is a 50, 60-year-old series now. But it's only been in about the past decade that they've actually started making money on it. Anyway. And I can't agree with you more, Mark. No more reboots. Do something new already. There are going to be a million different versions of these characters regardless, unless I misunderstand. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Especially when you start taking into account all the fan fiction that's happening out there as well. I kind of want a new season picking up years later. Yeah, Professor Ravenwood meeting is... Yeah. I agree. That would be great. It's not going to happen because that's too much like, actually taking care of your franchise and pruning it and working it. You know, they just want to, screw it. That's too much effort. I'm just going to reboot it. I'll make my own thing now. Indiana Jones, guy with a whip and a hat, and okay, he's an archaeologist. Let's go. Take care, Rosefire. Yeah, I'm going to be wrapping it up, too. I want to try getting through the chat as quickly as I can. Wasn't going to see Superman or Fantastic Four, but now I have to for a new series I'm hosting on Paulie's channel. Not looking forward to either of them. I feel like I'm going to be miserable. Yeah, I was holding out hope for Superman until I saw something yesterday. Not going to talk about it because it would get me off on a whole different tangent, but I have decided I won't be seeing this new Superman movie now. I'm done. It's a non-starter for me. I'm out. Dom 888 over on the Green Machine. So glad that you are here. Okay, this is a bit off topic, but why not? Lord God Almighty is coming soon. Repent. Ask Christ into your heart. Be born again. The whispers, emptiness of the soul, fear of death gone, true love, joy, peace, eternal life. King James Version of John 3, 3-7, and 3, 16-21. Thank you very much for sharing your faith, Dom. I super appreciate that. Yardiem Galactica was one of the few reboots I did like. They had great writing. The stories reflect current day issues and made you stop and think at times. Yep. Welcome, Tim. FKHC 2005's Rest in Peace, Kenneth Coley, a.k.a. Admiral Piet. Yep, I just saw that before I went live. Also was Jesus in the Life of Brian. Oh, okay, I didn't realize that. Let's see here. In reference to Indiana Jones Goes to Space, Indy Raker? Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Always save my... Okay. And Darth Plato, thank you so much. $5 super chat. Things being what they are, if Raiders is remade, Pedro will probably be Indy. Yep. No, he's definitely too old for the role. They definitely have to go younger. Yeah. Someone else said the girl that played Riri Williams, maybe. Yeah. They don't want to play the royalties. Meanwhile, Warner Brothers just made a 6th movie paying themselves royalties for Val Amor, who does not appear in any of the Karate Kid movies. Yes, you're absolutely right. Because it's just the name. Yep, you're absolutely right about that. I believe that there is a law requiring Pedro to be in all movies. Disney... Actually, you may not be wrong. There's no way to know this for sure, but he probably has a very good contract with Disney, and they have to put him in a certain number of movies. That could very well be the case. You may not be wrong there. Disney is essentially fan fiction at this point. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I wouldn't even call them fans. Let's be honest. Anyway, Superman. I really want a Superman, and a Fantastic Four. I don't think we're getting them, but that's what I would like. Yeah, no, I can guarantee you we are not. Galactica reboot. And have to go. Yes. And so I am going to wrap it up right there. Guys, I thank you so much for letting me vent. I've already gone way too long. I'm not going to keep you any longer. Hope to see you tonight on Netters Network for Thursday things. We're done. My drink is almost done. Take care. I'll see you on the next.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the highway.